Good afternoon, live from the Circus Sports of the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio. I'm Ross Johnston. There has been a lot of NFL news as the Ravens and Raiders trade with Max Crosby was denied by Baltimore after Crosby failed to pass his physical yesterday. The Raiders now get Crosby back on the roster, and the Ravens hold on to their 2026 and 2027 first-round picks. Then this morning, the Ravens made a move by signing free agent edge rusher Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $112 million deal as Hendrickson stays in the AFC North, coming from Cincinnati. The SEC tournament is underway as we have a few games coming up today. Currently, LSU is facing Kentucky. Kentucky leads by 2 in that one with about 12 minutes left to go. Next, we will have Mississippi State taking on Auburn. Then Ole Miss will take on Texas. And to cap it off tonight, South Carolina will take on Oklahoma. Tennessee will face the winner of Mississippi State and Auburn tomorrow at 2 p.m. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news and once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're out here at Bridgestone Arena for the SEC Men's Basketball Tournament going on right now, where there's about 11 minutes and 48 seconds left in Kentucky versus LSU, 64-62, according to my computer over here. We're at the Barrel House in between sections 111 and 112. If you want to come by and say hi to Blaine or myself. Other than that,
the staff.
And the staff. Got a lot of big staff.
And Robert and Kirby.
Yeah, Robert and Kirby are here right now.
Yeah, don't talk to him too long. CK.
Kirby does have his
2K.
Sharpie to sign his autographs if he needs it.
Yeah.
So he is there. That Max Crosby thing sure was wild last night.
What happened with Max Crosby?
Okay, so, obviously Max Crosby got traded to the Ravens, allegedly traded to the Ravens. And then the Ravens decided, and now they claim, since this is going, they've claimed that they also have outside opinions, but there were long-term issues with his knee, which is the injury that they already knew when they traded for him that he was rehabbing through, but they think there's long-term based on their medical analysis, I guess is for how you would put it. And they have since backed out of the trade, per their right, which is their right to do.
Yeah, it is.
Which is their right to do. But then they turn around and less than 12 hours later, go ahead and sign Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $112 million, up to $112 million.
Oh, is this up to?
I think it's up to.
Oh.
I was trying to find it before we came on the air, but I think it's up to.
So he's 29? It's up to 29 per?
So that'd be 28 per.
28, okay,
yeah.
okay.
But I think, it may, because I did see someone say there's incentives where he could maybe get to 30 per.
Ooh.
But I think the initial numbers came out were 28 per. So obviously a little cheaper than Max Crosby, because you also, not only is it cheaper financially, you don't have to give up 2 first-round draft picks. I mean, I'm
really?
just saying.
Yeah.
I know that, a good Bert's gone because I don't want him to argue with me.
What? Oh, no, I want him to. There he is right there.
He says.
Bert, defend yourself.
He says it's all legit. As a Ravens fan, he says it's all legit. All above board for the Baltimore Ratbirds.
Oh, my. Yeah, man. I think what happened was Bert texted him and said, this is not a smart decision because we need our first-round picks. I mean, what are you doing here with Jesse Minter, who, I'm his favorite player of all time. Ask him about that when you see him. No question.
During your Zoom
his
meetings.
dad was my coach at Ball State, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was his favorite player growing up. And so, at least at Ball State anyway. And, they act as though that they're pushing the Ravens. They are pushing be playoff bound type. And that kind of pressure for a first-year head coach is kind of interesting to me. It seems like they're trying to get back to this level where I went to a live game of theirs, and they look nothing like the Ravens I've seen before. They had a lot of injuries at that time. That game I went to against the Texans, they just ran right through them. They had a lot of guys starting on defense I hadn't even heard of, by the way. But that's okay, you know, but it's still the Ravens. So I'm just curious, though. If the Titans would have done something like this, what would have happened, you think?
I mean, the NFL can't fine you, but I'm sure they would find a way to reprimand them in some form or fashion, whether that's a public statement or something. But
there are examples of this happening, by the way. Drew Brees was one of them.
Right.
They got Nick Saban basically out of there because the training department said no to Drew Brees going to the Dolphins. That's how he ended up with the Saints. I can tell you a personal experience here with me personally going to the Eagles. Going to the Eagles, they said, we are not responsible for your shoulder. So that hints then we're going to take $1 million off each year, your 3-year deal, because we're not responsible. And you're going to sign something to say we aren't responsible for your shoulder. No different than, good example, when T.O. played with the hurt ankle in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
So here's what I'm getting at by saying all of this is that they can pass you on a physical if they want to.
Right.
If they don't want to, they can say that we don't approve of it. Because they definitely didn't approve of my shoulder, and I'm sure they didn't approve of T.O. playing in that Super Bowl when he actually did pretty well, by the way. He forced them to play. So I think that gives everybody the out, whoever training staff or coaches, because I think they really kind of changed their mind. After they thought about it, they saw his knee, and it could have been his knee to help them change their mind. Like, dang, we're going to give up 2 first-round picks for this guy's knee who, by the way, he's out 2 months, and he just now is starting, to get deep into the rehab? 2 months for a meniscus? What's wrong with his meniscus?
And I know his agent said he was ahead of schedule, but that's also
I don't know
his
the
agent.
extent of his,
we don't
injury
know.
of a meniscus. I had meniscus surgery 3 different times on my knee, by the way, and I only missed 1 game. So I don't know. There are different levels of surgery, so I don't know the extent. It could be right underneath the bone there, and, he needs it. For me, being bow-legged, I had some advantages being on the outside because I really didn't need it. So they usually reattach those things, and it takes about 8 weeks, I would say, and then you start the rehab because they reattach it. So I'm just assuming that he had something like that. So, you could be upset, angry, or disappointed and think they did something shady, but at the end of the day, the rules are set where they can get out of the deal, and they moved swiftly. That's what makes people think, something was up.
Yeah.
When, my man Hendrickson was going to probably sign with the Colts, by the way, so I'm not mad at this at all.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
So, from a Titans perspective, it probably went about as well as it could go, right? I mean, if you're anti-Ravens, because I know that a lot of Titans fan base is, if you're anti-Ravens, hate the Ravens, then they look bad. If you are anti-Colts, which I'm sure every Titans fan is, they didn't get Trey Hendrickson. So, it kind of works out for the Tennessee Titans because you weren't ever in the mix for Trey Hendrickson. And
some fans wanted him to be.
I know that some fans wanted them to be. Buck tried to spin it to where the Raiders the Ravens screwed the Titans on this whole thing. And I'm like, they weren't even listed anywhere in all this stuff. Yeah.
No.
And all this stuff about Trey Hendrickson.
Bird, this is not true, is it?
I mean, didn't Buck say something in the show, the inaugural show, that this kind of screwed the Titans somehow? Like he tried to make a connection with it?
I see Bird is up here. I would have said no.
He's already saying, come on.
What happened?
He tweeted this morning, and he quote tweeted a thing that said Trey Hendrickson going to Baltimore, and said the Titans miss out on Trey Hendrickson because of this Crosby nonsense.
Yeah.
And none of the reports from any of the insiders, when they list all of the teams, the Bucks, the Colts, the Eagles, the Bills, not even tangentially are the Titans mentioned. So in no way.
He was poking the bear of the fan base here with the Titans.
I was like,
there's a lot of Titans fans wanted him to go after Trey Hendrickson.
100%.
And I also think did he also just wake up from a coma? Because because that's my first instinct is well, congratulations to Buck for waking up out of his coma to see that Trey Hendrickson had been a free agent for a while now, and he was never linked to the Tennessee Titans.
He was trying to poke the bear. I get what he's trying to do there.
Little rage bait.
Even Kirby realized what he was doing right there.
But It worked. The only way it really affects the Titans is that it took away a good player from the Colts, like you said. So that's great for the Titans. The Ravens look like they are being perpetrated into a bad or portrayed in a bad light. So that's actually a little bonus for Titans fans.
Henderson was injured too, by the way. He had that core muscle.
But he'll pass the physical.
Yeah, you could pass if you want him to pass.
Yeah.
I'm serious now. I've seen some guys get passed and like, hey man, this guy's barely walking.
And listen, the
Raiders.
Raiders.
I'm like, so you could pass a guy if you really want to.
This may be a little karma, right? Because the Raiders did the same thing to Roger Saffold just a few years ago. They paid him all this money after the Tennessee Titans, and they got blasted in the media for paying Roger Saffold like top of the market money and all this stuff. And then they turned around and failed him, didn't have to give him that contract.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
So that's a little karma for the Raiders.
Oh, wow.
And to be honest, Tennessee Titans just kind of did it with Lloyd Cush. They knew that he had shoulder surgery and still failed him with the physical. So I'm just saying.
That was a guy that was already on the
right,
team.
but they also didn't. They just didn't want him anymore, and so they just kind of And so again, you could, if they wanted him, they could have passed him, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's where it kind of lands with me. If the and I know that the Ravens have since come out and said, or through the media at least have said, that there were concerns long-term with his knee. Well, that's such a nebulous term. Is that long-term in that he can only play for you 4 years? Mm-hmm, right. Or can he? Or is it like long-term back in when he's like 50?
Right, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, it's a very nebulous term. I just feel like they didn't really – the optics are bad, but again, it's well within their right. Like that's the now maybe this lets maybe the NFL cracks down on something.
I don't know if they're.
But I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Now we've passed that period. What is it called? Illegal or illegal tampering?
Legal tampering period ends at 3 p.m. today. 3 p.m. our time today.
I do not like this period.
I mean, just go ahead and just make it.
Right.
You know what?
Why don't you just make it start on Monday?
Combine is the actual legal tampering period. Let's just all agree that everything gets done at the Combine. So let's just go ahead and after the Combine's over, officially start free agency.
Because they already start all of the talking in. I am with you, man. That's a great idea, man. Dang, man, call the sheriff.
There you go.
Call Roger Goodell.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, we talk about all the rumors that come out of the Combine anyway.
Groomers.
Yeah, the groomers, the informed speculation, the chit chat that goes on behind all these agents and the teams and all this kind of
maneuvering.
Stuff. Might as well just make it like that Monday when everybody's on their way back, or that Tuesday, whatever. I guess today's Wednesday. So that Wednesday after the Combine. That should be the official start of league year.
Does that make sense to you, though? Legal tampering.
I don't even know why they call it.
That's the opposite. Legal tampering.
Right. I don't get it. Why don't call it legal negotiating window?
Oh,
I mean, you could call it so many different things. Legal tampering is just such an odd term anyway.
Man, they trying to get us, man. They leg whipped us on that. Hey, they got Crosby. Now he has to go back. They may trade him later down the road if somebody gets injured on another team.
Yeah.
But right now he's going to be a Raider. Did that mess them up with their cap and all the guys that they signed? A lot of people are saying no, and some people are saying yes. So I don't know what to believe.
Not really. It messes up their overall plans maybe, or just pivot. You have to pivot because you weren't expecting him there.
Renegotiating, or are they going to give him a long-term deal, or somebody else?
Well, I think it, from what I've understood about their cap and cash situation, they're fine. So they can keep Max Crosby and pay everybody that they've already paid and be fine.
Okay.
Even with Crosby, they're around $39 to $42 million, depending on where you look in cap space.
Because they signed a couple defensive passes.
Right, and most of those guys have already hit their cap. For whatever reason, thank God and thank you, Tennessee Titans and Vin Marino negotiating all these. We've been getting contracts quicker, not only for the Titans, but for all players right now. I don't know what reason that would be, but typically you wait. Like, we're still waiting on Mitchell Trubisky right now, but typically we're waiting on almost everybody as a Tennessee Titans fan base, and right now it is do we got some breaking news? Okay, hold on. The Ravens, or is it the Ravens signing? Mm-hmm. The Ravens have agreed to terms on a deal with Chidobe Awuzie. Sources say back to Baltimore for Awuzie. Had 5 starts of 14 games played for the team last year. So there you go.
Awuzie, that's the same Awuzie that was with Awuzie us.
Yeah.
And then Awuzie nothing.
The one that kept him out of the Awuzie playoffs this year?
Awuzie he looked the part, though. Didn't he keep getting injured? Like his hammy or something, his muscles?
He was good with us.
With us? With the Titans? No, I'm talking about with the Titans. Yeah. I don't care what he did for your team, the Ravens. No, we're talking about the Titans. Hey. No, he was good with y'all.
Yeah, he was actually good with them.
Man, yeah, he was good at Dallas until he wasn't. Yep. Hey, man. Dang, man. I was like, oh, he's going to be pretty good if he stays healthy, and he did not.
He did not.
Crap.
It sucks. That's classic Tennessee Titans, though.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just getting a lot of teams getting a little desperate, giving guys 1-year deals and everything.
Yeah.
Losing out on some of those players at the Titans side. And
this is like so far the most 3-year deals in free agency, or that's the new trend. And then also, this is the first time in 24 hours of the legal tampering window being open that 25 of 30 of the top 30 players over NFL.com agreed to terms with contracts, which is kind of crazy. But go back to your point to the Raiders. Last time I checked, almost everybody had already hit their cap space except for Quay Walker and Nate Hobbs. And they had $39.2 million in cap space. So those two guys aren't going to affect that. So they got that. And they got their first-round pick back. And for at least the first 8 or 9 weeks of the season, whenever the trade deadline's established, they had Max Crosby and their first-round pick back. As long as he's okay with playing and all that, their defense is marketably better than when he left and got traded, and now he's coming back to a better situation. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It may just work out for everybody.
Oh, I'm sure hoping so.
Because I tell you one thing, you're getting a motivated Max Crosby for sure.
But, since I am a true Titan, I do not care nothing about the Raiders or the Ravens doing good. So, poop on you.
There you go.
We'll go to break.
All right, poop on you. We're going to break. We're live at Bridgestone Arena. SEC men's tournament is going on. Kentucky versus LSU. Kentucky currently leads 75-65. This is Cover 2. Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Legendary coach Lou Holtz once said, before people spend money, they ask 3 questions. Can I trust you, especially to Kirby? Are you committed to excellence, and do you care about me? Hey, friends, it's Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix has built its business on answering those 3 questions with a bold yes. So back in 1999, founder Aaron Stokes was by himself in his one-car garage in downtown Franklin. And a few months later, he moved to a shop and a barn behind his house so he could stay close to his family while building his dream of offering the best service on European vehicles at below dealer pricing. So fast forward to today. That barn's long gone, and Eurofix is thriving with 5 locations: Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, and more to come. And all work performed comes with, a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, plus a rental car is available with every appointment. So go ahead and ask yourself, can I trust you? Do we care, and are we committed to excellence? And I think you'll say yes when you see how Eurofix treats you and everyone else. So call them right now at 844-EUROFIX, or you can check them out online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com.
Cover 2. Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here at 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Stores, 615-737-1045. We're broadcasting live from Bridgestone Arena. The Barrel House is where we're at, in between sections 112 and 111 for the SEC Men's Basketball Tournament. Currently, University of Kentucky with 4 minutes left in the second half, 79-72 lead. It's been a tight game for most of the game, but University of Kentucky has been getting some breathing room here lately before the game ends. Glad that this Kentucky game's early, because that means all the Kentucky people should be off the road by the time I head back up north.
Okay.
And because the Kentucky fans or Kentucky drivers, but they're also the worst drivers. The worst state ever driving.
What?
And I get it. They don't have big cities up there in Kentucky.
They worse than Alabama?
They are way worse than Alabama.
I knew because you was Alabama.
Yeah. Well, they are way worse than Alabama.
I have no idea.
It is a pain. And you know what I mean?
Well, every day I see a lot of people here in Tennessee that can't drive.
Yeah, well, all mine are from Kentucky because I come from the north side, so I see a lot of the Kentucky people.
Oh, I'm going
and
south.
Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. And yesterday I noticed it more, and I'm like, why are all the? And I wasn't really putting two and two together. I was like, why are there so many terrible Kentucky drivers on this interstate?
He got Kentucky right there.
I know y'all are terrible drivers.
Come here, man.
Yeah, like terrible drivers.
He's scared to talk to us.
Yeah, Kentucky drivers are by far the worst.
No.
And now Bustin' Diamond says Zach obviously has never driven in New Jersey. Damn straight, I'm never going to New Jersey in my life.
Oh, I've definitely been to New Jersey.
But my God, Kentucky drivers are terrible. At least
Kentucky
in the
drivers
South.
can drive, can't they? Indiana's worse. Who? Alabama? Florida.
Well, not here in Tennessee. It must be Southern Kentucky drivers or something who are coming over into Tennessee, because those are the worst ones. They're terrible.
I don't know. I don't know how far they're going to go, man. SEC's up for grabs. You never know.
That is true. You really don't ever know. I mean, the SEC's been pretty tough. I mean, the betting favorite's probably Florida.
Right.
First time I heard this from Lucas.
Big Gator Mike would be all, he'd be pumped up about that.
I've heard from Lucas this morning on the Buck Rising show. He said that this is the first time in the SEC tournament since 1979 that Kentucky's played the first day.
Oh,
since
really?
1979.
Oh, wow. Oh, they're not happy.
That is kind of crazy.
Big Blue Nation is not happy.
Yeah. They have a record of 19-12, and LSU 15-16. Like I said, a little under 4 minutes left in the second half. 79-72, Kentucky leads.
So they coming up here in the Barrel House right now.
They're refueling.
Get some Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Snow Kentucky. I will say this: as bad as the drivers are in Kentucky, love Kentucky bourbon.
Okay.
So
maybe that's why they're bad drivers.
Maybe they're up there in the Kentucky bourbon.
They get a lot of bourbon going
on.
All
right. So the Tennessee Titans made just a few moves since yesterday we were last on. They signed punter Tommy Townsend, that was formerly of the Texans. It's an upgrade over Johnny Hecker if you look at the stats. They re-signed Joey Sly, who was the kicker for them last year, who seemed to be a big Bones Fossil guy.
Big quads.
Yeah, that dude's built.
Oh, he ripped up now.
Yeah, he does not skip leg day because I know he's a punter, so he wouldn't, but like arm day, I guess is what you say. Don't skip arm day.
Yeah.
And then they did tender this morning Bryce Oliver as an exclusive rights free agent, which means that from what I understand, he only has one accrued season, because he didn't play 6 games last year for the Tennessee Titans, and that's what they used to determine the tender amount. So he's going to get paid like at the vet minimum, like he only has 1 season of experience, even though he did play in 3 games last year. But that's, from what I understand, he's getting like a $1.005 million deal to stick around, and I think that's a great deal. I'm glad that they tendered him.
Me too.
I hope that he bounces back from his injury last year, and he's able to, contribute on special teams. and then also hopefully maybe find his way onto the field a little bit in a little bit of rotational
That will be
manner.
interesting, but I think if you're talking about 5th, 6th wide receiver, man, you can't go wrong with him. Especially he can bring some special teams to the table, as you mentioned there. So I was unfortunate, man, because I thought he was going to get a shot. With the injuries and the rebuilding of the team.
Yeah, probably would have had a real shot last year with those injuries.
I think every time he got a shot, he showcased that. He had some knee injury from making a tackle actually on the gunner position.
Yeah,
and that was very unfortunate, man. So guys, tough. So I love seeing guys like that getting opportunities and make the most of it. So hopefully he'll get his shot. They're rebuilding the room a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Obviously he'll be a gunner. Then you'll probably have Joshua Williams be the other gunner at this point in time, if I had to guess. You got James Williams on special teams. They've built a pretty good special teams unit. And of course, they had a good one last year anyway. But they're not satisfied with even how last year went, even though it went really well. They're making it better, and so at least strength on strength right there. And I really do hope that Bryce Oliver stays healthy. I know he we always brought him up because he was always practicing, but on a limited basis, and we talked about him on the pregame show. We talked about him on our show a few times, just hoping maybe this was the day we'd get to see him start gumming back, and he just never did. So I'm really rooting for him. It's an easy story.
He showcased
easy guy to root for.
year before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he showed. I'm like, oh, my.
He's got speed. He's got the size.
He's got the length,
and he throughout the games that he did play at receiver and throughout what we've seen in preseason and the offseason, he's got ability to be a receiver. Now, when we say that, obviously wide receiver 4, but he can be an NFL receiver for any team. And I love that he's being able to I know he wasn't signed technically at the beginning as an undrafted free agent by Mike Bergonzi as by Rand Carthon. I know that obviously the new coaching staff, I love that he's able to survive the coaching transition. And I think there is a spot for him.
That shows how good he is. Yeah. So, yeah. And I think they're going to upgrade this room. That's why I mentioned that. I think they're probably going to draft and probably upgrade with even free agent signings. And I'm talking about undrafted guys. It's going to be interesting to see where fan favorites, Kinsey and Restrepo, line up in this whole picture here, because they may be – it's going to be a tough time this year. Already just seeing the numbers, they're not going to be able to keep both of those guys, even on the practice squad.
And even when you kind of look at it, and maybe it's time for Mason Kinsey to be able to have a chance elsewhere to catch on too. Yeah. And I know they're fan favorites and for different people and all that, and I totally agree with you, but you're right.
And I love them too. Yeah.
They got Wan'Dale Robinson. They currently still have Calvin Ridley. They just tendered Bryce Oliver. They have the two former rookies, now they're second-year guys, sophomore guys, Elikai and Manor, Chimere Dike. Well, that's a solid 5 right there already. You're likely going to draft one. And if you cut Ridley, you're likely going to maybe draft 2, sign 1, and to your point, you still have undrafted free agents that could fall through the cracks and be a player.
McKenzie, man. Oh, man, he's tough too.
Yeah.
Because Restrepo's still young, so he may get more of an opportunity on the practice squad, but it's going to be interesting. That shows how much we're upgrading the roster with Bergonzi and crew actually putting everything together in solid. So, it's exciting to see how the Titans are progressing here just in this short window here, and we're not even talking about the draft or free agency over yet.
Yeah, because free agency, to be honest, technically free agency hasn't started. Technically, quotation marks.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday at 3 o'clock technically hasn't started, man. But we know the free agency has started. And but to be honest, I was looking at because I seen a lot of people freak out that the Tennessee Titans have yet to sign a second defensive end, if you will. And I was kind of going through the list.
You mean a backup?
Yeah, well, a backup or a solid starter. And I was kind of going through the list. I was like, well, there's still a lot of names there. There's Joey Bosa. I know only probably like the real nerds are going to know Arnold Ebiketie. He had 2 back-to-back seasons as a rotational guy where he got 6.5 sacks. Cam Jordan, A.J. Epineza, D.J. Wonnum, Hassan Reddick, Michael Dana, Charles Omenihu, Cleveland Farrell, Bradley Chubb, Uter Gross-Matos, Samson Ebukam, Danico Autry, Azeez Ojulari, Jihad Ward.
Do you think they need to sign a
I think they need. Not a top of the market value, but yeah,
I'm just talking about in general.
I think so. I think again, my plan would be to go in without any glaring holes into the draft. And so, like, if you signed an A.J. Epineza or, an Arnold Ebiketie or Samson Ebukam, they're guys that could start for you if you needed them to, but they're likely their value and what they really bring are as rotational, situational players. And if you can have that rotation, because they're going to use a lot of defensive linemen in a variety of different ways, so you need a deep bench. Now, is that a priority right now? No. Priority number one is finding a center. Priority number two, or 1B, is finding a right guard. And, I know there's a report out there that there's mutual interest between Kevin Zeitler, but also in that same report over at PK.com, it says they're still choosing, and he could sign and he could not sign. Okay, well, yeah, that's every free agent, right? Like, every free agent could sign or not sign.
I think that's what I'm talking about. I think the Titans are waiting to see how everything plays out here in free agency and maybe even after the draft. For a guy like Zeitler and people of that ilk, veterans who've been in the league.
That will give a lot of people a lot of heartburn if they wait till after the draft to draft right guard. But sometimes that's how it happens in the NFL.
Well, that's why I asked Stoney Keeley yesterday, because a lot of people are talking about, and it's draft experts, that, this draft for guards, guys moving from tackle to guard in the National Football League, that you can get a quality player in the middle of the round, let's just say fourth round, and could be a plug-and-play guy right away. So, that'll be interesting if they go that route. I think they're still trying to stay young. They're only going to go, older, over 30 with guys that they probably know. So if you're talking about a one-year deal, I think I'm okay right now with them at pass rusher.
Okay.
I do like drafting a pass rusher because they say it's strong in the second and third round. Those guys are all kind of somewhat the same. I would say they're of the ilk of Harold Landry type players. And so I think you can get that rotational guy, still staying young and building with what you have with Harold, Femi, and Johnson and Tremaine, and then you add another guy in the second or third round. I think you now have 4 pass rushers that you think can implement in game, that you can be on that rotation, because there's another side to this to me, that you still have to get Femi into the works of having reps. If you sign a veteran guy, he is now
that is true.
So I just don't know how they view it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking. If you're saying, okay, we want rotational, but he's got to start showing up, how do they view him? They may not, like him at all, or may like him a lot. Now, going in the second round, and they went all the way in on with Berganti in his
similar
first
to follow the money, right?
So I think you have to, you have to push and see if he can be a guy.
So you may, to your point, you may not get this rotational guy until camp.
Right, and you can get a guy, those guys on that list, maybe probably 4 of them will be left. There's always some pass rushers there, veteran guys. If you're not feeling comfy, with the guys you got, hey, we'll go with this guy. I mean, I don't know who it would be, but at that time, who's available? So that's right before camp. Most of those guys, those veteran guys.
When did Jihad Ward even sign last year?
Yeah, I think most of those guys don't even, want to go to camp, because they know who they are. I mean, even, Clowney and people of that ilk who are still solid players, but want to be rotational pieces. They'll get you 5 sacks. So I think that's the route I would go.
Jihad Ward, for instance, like we were just talking about, Jihad Ward, and I believe Leonard Floyd signed around this time too, but of course he didn't make it. He retired, but July 24th.
See?
So Jihad Ward was your second best defender, to be honest with you, in terms of pass rushing. You were able to get him in July. So to your point, that gives you plenty of time to see what you got with Femi, where he's at in his rehab process, put him through the test. You can actually get his hands on him. So you may be right.
Reps, even if it's
to
just
be honest,
practice reps and preseason.
That's not the way I've thought about it. So that's a good.
I don't know if that's how they think.
Yeah, they may not think about that, but that's
how I would.
If we're going to say follow the money, follow the draft capital is pretty big thing too, and a second-round pick that you could have had, you could have stuck and picked with Luther Burden, Nick Manowari. You could have done a totally different situation. Now you ended up with 2 players, and one of those is Kevin Winston, and we were both high on Kevin Winston. But you could have done something totally different.
Yeah.
And you guys went with the project. So if you're going with the project, you got to start building on the project, right? You got to work on the project.
Unfortunately, he got injured, so we got stunned there in this
injured in what was looking to be his best game of the season.
Yeah, he started getting better.
Yeah.
Let's just say that from where he started. So still had a lot of growth to go, but And we want to see if he can all pull it together. Sometimes when you have an injury, especially, a player of that stature with that kind of athleticism and potential, you want to see if he can, develop even more so when
we got some breaking sports news coming. This one is worthy of the
Titans,
music.
though.
Not the Titans.
Adjacent to the Titans. Thanks, Ross.
Three-time Pro Bowl safety Kevin Byard is signing with the Patriots on a 1-year, $9 million deal per sources. Deal negotiated by David Mugoletta of Athletes First.
Cool.
So
KB
being reunited with Mike Vrabel up in New England.
Knows the system.
Yeah, he knows the system.
Yeah,
knows what's expected of him.
Great leader.
Yes.
Great human being, let alone a great player. So, yeah.
Great investment by them. We kind of pitched around. We kind of hoped that maybe you could bring around Kevin Byard back, but that's a little bit of a pipe dream.
It was just because he was such an exceptional human being and player, and still's got something left in the tank. I think we're kind of more on the rebuilding where the Patriots are coming from losing in the Super Bowl. They think they have a shot next year. They want some veteran leadership, continue to grow. We were right steps away from it.
Kevin Byard had a good year last year too, so he's not only just a leader, he's a great player. Still
producing.
Yeah, still producing.
Led the league in interceptions.
Yeah.
He's a ball hawk.
You got him and Christian Gonzalez in that secondary. Carlton Davis as well. That's pretty good. That's a really good signing for Mike Vrabel and the New England Patriots for sure.
1 year, $9 million, huh?
1 year, $9 million. I don't think it said up to $9 million. Let me see if it's up on my screen over here. Did not say up to $9 million. Just says 1 year, $9 million.
Oh my! So good for him.
Good for him. Good for him. All right, when we come back, we'll talk more about the Tennessee Titans free agency. We'll also be joined by Mike Herndon of PK.com later at 2:20 p.m. Currently 21 seconds left according to my computer. 85-78. University of Kentucky leads LSU. We're here at the SEC Men's Basketball Tournament at Bridgestone Arena, broadcasting live from the Barrel House between sections 111 and 112. Come out and say hi. This is Cover 2. Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Well, guys, spring break is finally here for most. And guess what? We want that spring break bod, and some of the ladies too as well. But the approach to weight loss at Edge Peptide Hormone Therapy is a little bit different to get there where you're trying to get to, and that means 8-pack. We make sure all the patients have extensive lab work and face-to-face conversation in office with our nurse practitioner to create a customized treatment plan tailored to your specific needs. They use only U.S.-based FDA-audited compounding pharmacies because knowing where your peptides come from always matters, and not doing it online, right? And Edge walks you through the process, guiding your treatment, answering questions, and supporting you along the way. You enjoy access to the in-body scanner to track weight loss and making sure you're maintaining that muscle mass that you have accumulated like Byard. As well as Edge always uses the lowest effective doses to make sure that you are resetting your metabolic flexibility and not starving yourself like most people think they can to lose weight. So you get to lower your A1C, keeping your cravings in check, prioritizing protein, and having someone guide your journey from start to finish. So call the team at Edge Peptide for all your wellness questions at 615, of course, 724-1878, or you can check them out online at edgepeptide.com. That's edgepeptide.com.
Cover 2, Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. We're broadcasting live from the Barrel House inside of Bridgestone Arena for the SEC Men's Basketball Tournament. The game just wrapped up. Kentucky wins 87-82 over LSU. Coming up next will be Mississippi State versus Auburn. Tennessee plays tomorrow. We'll be carrying that live on 104.5 The Zone here, where you can listen to the game if you can't make it out. And if you do make it out, like I said, we're at the Barrel House, me and Blaine Bishop, in between sections 112 and 111 as soon as you walk through the door from the Demumbrian side. So come over and say hi. We got a lot of good basketball being played today. Got a lot of people here, a lot of fans. Got University of Tennessee fans here. Everything is going on today over at the Barrel House as well.
Blue Nation coming out.
They're coming out. They got themselves a victory. So there you go. Here's the thing about what I love about what the Tennessee Titans are doing is that it felt a little bit different than last year. Whereas when they're spending in free agency, you're like, well, okay, they're making no bones about it. They're in the first stage of rebuilding. You kind of got that sense. And this year it feels like, okay, they're spending more. They have to spend anyway because, they just had so many holes. But they're spending on young, ascending talent that is kind of entering their peak NFL careers with, specifically Lante Taylor, Cordell Flott, Wandell Robinson, all getting their bigger contracts for the first time in their careers. And it feels like, and I know that we have been trying to temper our personal excitement about this team since Robert Saleh and Brian Dable and all these guys started taking over. But it's starting to feel like maybe they can do something like what the Commanders did a few years ago, what the Texans have done. Maybe they can do something like the Patriots in terms of just looking way, way better and maybe even get 10 wins. We're a little far away from it, but I'm feeling like everything is trending in the right direction. You still have the rest of free agency, you still have the draft, you still have to get through injury-free and all that kind of stuff. Cam Ward, has to come out of his rehab. But for me, this feels a lot more hopeful than maybe this time last year.
Oh, no doubt about it. For me, I'm not going to go as far as 10 wins. Naturally, I'll start at the 7, 8, 9, because the veteran presence of the coaches who's been in this league, they know what to expect from other teams and how to game plan versus them, as well as they are teachers. So we're going to see how much and how quickly these players can adapt. That's why they're bringing in players they're familiar with, so then they can help speed up that process for the other players. So I love the mix as you're talking about ascending players. I think guys who are coming into their prime of their careers, they've seen a lot in this league and played a lot. So you match that up with some young, talented guys, which hopefully they'll get in the draft. And then you add some veteran pieces along the way after these huge signings. And I think, man, that's the magic recipe right there. So, I love what they're doing. It's the first time I could say that in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I'm really, man, dang, I'm trying to wait to see the draft because imagine this now. Only thing I don't see really happening, I wish it could happen this year, is can they get their number one wide receiver?
Yeah.
And I just don't know if that's going to happen. If you go to your guy, Love, in the first round, or do you trade back and get two really good players in the first round, and maybe that's Tate and another player. It could be a pass rusher.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know if you're going to get some fillers for the fourth pick either. So if not, do you stick and stay with the best player available, my guy Sonny Styles, or do you take Love, which they've already had a good running game under Dayball, and an elite running back when they had Shaquan.
Yeah.
So,
and even when they were turned in that direction with Scatterboo.
Boo, right. They still ran the football. So, and they had a number one receiver until Davis got injured. So those are the pieces to the puzzle. We have Wandell. I wouldn't say he's a number one just because he's more so a slot than anything else. But I could say he's a 1B. And if you got to compliment elite level guy opposite him with a running back with Cam Ward, oh, man, I just think that's fantastic now what they've done. Also with the tight ends and everything else. So they're on the right track. You can see the vision.
Yeah.
I can see now what they're trying to put together. Before I couldn't see the vision.
Yeah, that was, I think, the problem with Rand Carthon when you're trying to marry, and even last year a little bit with the free agency and the draft, it just didn't feel like it really was going to marry up with what you needed to happen. And maybe that's just the first year of a rebuild, and that's how it looks. And because Tennessee Titans haven't gone through a rebuild in quite some time, but that's just how it looks now. But this year, to your point, I feel like there is a clear vision, a clear plan. I mean, you're talking about Wan'Dale Robinson has just turned 25. Alontae Taylor just turned 27. You have Cordell Flott just turned 24. Now, he's 24 and a half. You have Daniel Bellinger's 25. Joshua Williams, 26. I mean, that's a lot of young guys, and these are young ascending talents that probably are close maybe to hitting their peak, but we don't know. They at least haven't hit their peak yet.
Oh, no, they haven't. Yeah,
that's the least one thing you can say. Now, how high is the peak? Don't know. But, I mean, you can at least say they haven't hit that. And last year it felt like they got guys that kind of – you knew what you were getting, but you weren't getting anything more.
Well, you didn't get anything elite.
Yeah.
In the NFL standards. Good players, good high-character guys, productive, what you got to have on the team. Those are the main guys on your team, and then you start getting elite. Opposite of your quarterback, you got to get a pass rush. They had the left tackle. You got to get your elite wide receiver. You got to get your elite. Hopefully, they thought they had the corner with Snead, and then the injuries and everything else. So now you got two. So now all you got to do is kind of fill. You got Winston from last year. Got him in the third round. Great value. Got Hooker, a veteran who's still, in his prime. So you're going to say, okay, that looks solid with all the D-line signings and the trades. Oh, man.
Oh, we forgot Jordan Elliott signed last night.
Yeah, Jordan Elliott.
Yeah.
So what has his production been, and what is his size? Because I think he's kind of on the bigger side. Kind of, if Sweat would have lost weight, could he have been somewhat similar to this player?
Probably. Jordan Elliott's about 310 pounds, I think.
Okay.
So he's a bigger guy. He's not the run stuffer. Now, he's going to fill that role.
Right.
But he's not an elite. Sweat was a good run stuffer. This guy's not as good as Sweat. He's not as good as Sweat as a pass rusher. Right. He's not as good as Sweat
and
as
that's what I wanted you to say.
Okay, so I'm just going to say it. Because I know there are people out there that have said, well, he's going to be there's your Tavondre Sweat replacement. No, your Tavondre Sweat replacement was John Franklin Myers.
Right.
Which is fine because you're getting an upgrade in pass rushing ability.
Yes, you are.
But this guy is worse than Tavondre Sweat. Now, is he an upgrade over a C.J. Ravenel?
No. I'm going to go different.
Okay.
Sebastian Joseph Day.
I don't think he's an upgrade over Sebastian Joseph Day. I do think we fall into the trap where I do think they're two different players. Yeah. Because I feel like Sebastian Joseph Day is that guy that can play inside and outside.
Yeah.
Jordan Elliott, you don't want him outside.
Right.
But what I will say about Jordan Elliott is that he's dependable. And he's been a steady starter and consistent. Now, you're not going to get above average play. You are going to get, at best, average defensive tackle play. And maybe that's okay. And
they paid him that.
And they paid him that.
Yeah.
So, to your point, he is a rotational guy for sure. And he is a guy that if someone were to go down, you can rely on him to know what to do, to come in and do their job. And that's what you need in the depth. And that's fine. But if you're going to try and sit there and spin it, I'm not saying you, but just you in general. And say that this is better than Tavondre Sweat, it's not. There is no way, shape, or form. There is no reality in the multiverse where that is true.
He's just not as talented. Let's put it that way. Then, at times, because of his consistency, you could say, there's times where you thought, okay, he's somewhat more consistent, so that makes him a little bit better player. He's more available, too, as well, based off of last year. But and I like consistent players because you know what you're getting.
Right.
So he's a valuable. I value him a lot with the rotation of what they're going to be doing. Are we going to get some flashes of greatness? No. We're going to get flashes of really good to being average to sometimes you're not even going to know he's on the field just because his name is not being called. So, you got to have
dirty
those guys.
Work guy.
Yeah. We had those guys, and I think those are valuable. You got to have those guys. So they got the inside pretty much done now.
It really feels like they do. I mean, because they still have a couple of the undrafted free agents from last year and the guy that they picked up off waivers, Ravenel, as well.
Yeah, so they got
a pretty good defensive line, I feel like, set at least a good variety. And to also give Jordan Elliott credit, he is a first and second down player, but everywhere he's been from Cleveland to San Francisco, he's been – the majority of the time that season the starter on first and second downs.
Yeah.
And that's you need, to your point, you need those guys not only just to start but also for depth, because then you can put Jordan Elliott in the middle. Maybe you kick Big Jeff to the edge and have Jordan Elliott and John Franklin Myers in the middle, and then Big Jeff's on the outside with Jermaine Johnson. It, again, allows you flexibility to free up other players.
I don't know if I'm doing that too much on third down.
I don't. Not on third down. Not on third down. You hope Femi's in there in that rotation, at least on third down, or Jalen Harrell, something like that. All right, when we come back, there is one thing I am a little concerned about with this free agency class and how it relates to the draft. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Good afternoon. Live from the Circus Sports of the Mid-Kentucky Downs studio, I'm Ross Johnson. There has been a lot of NFL news as the Ravens and Raiders trade with Max Crosby was denied by Baltimore after Crosby failed to pass his physical yesterday. The Raiders now get Crosby back on the roster, and the Ravens hold on to their 2026 and 2027 first-round picks. Then this morning, the Ravens made a move by signing free agent edge rusher Trey Hendrickson to a 4-year, $112 million deal, as Hendrickson will stay in the AFC North, coming from Cincinnati. Also, the New England Patriots signed former Titan Kevin Byard to a 1-year deal, reuniting him with Mike Vrabel. The SEC tournament is underway, and we have had a game already as Kentucky defeated LSU 87-82. Coming up next, Mississippi State will take on Auburn. Then Ole Miss will take on Texas. And to cap it off tonight, South Carolina will take on Oklahoma. Tennessee will face the winner of Mississippi State and Auburn tomorrow at 2 p.m. For all your foundation repair and your waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans of Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number. Good time to tell Ross that anything he says in our headsets, the people out in the concourse can also hear, so they heard him sing along to the song.
Oh, I'm fully aware.
Oh, you are fully aware. There you go. You may not be fully aware, though, for those that may be driving to Bridgestone Arena for the SEC men's basketball tournament to see Mississippi State versus Auburn coming up next, that there is a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect until 2:45 p.m. Central Standard Time for Davidson, Cheatham, Southern Robertson County, Williamson County, and Sumner County, and could be up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail, so just make sure you guys stay safe if you're traveling here. Of course, we're already here. Oh, well, here it is. We were talking about this yesterday, Blaine. And Mike Garofalo reports, getting chiggy with it, the Commanders have agreed to terms on a 3-year deal with tight end Chigoziem Okonkwo. The deal for former Titans tight end was confirmed by his agents Jason Shayut and Jared Fox. So 3-year deal. Don't know the numbers yet for Chigoziem Okonkwo, but he is going to the Washington Commanders, who are also expected when he gets cut later today. Brandon Ayuk, San Francisco 49ers wide receiver Brandon Ayuk is rumored to be cut as soon as free agency starts, that the Commanders will also be signing Brandon Ayuk. So they would have signed Brandon Ayuk and Chigoziem Okonkwo on the same day. 3-year deal.
Oh, 3-year deal. We don't know the money?
No money yet. So as soon as the money comes up, I'll let you. That must not be a good sign, which means I wonder if he got paid less than Daniel Bellinger and Charlie Kolar.
No, there were better blockers.
Oh, you got paid for blocking, right? I mean, you got paid for that high upside blocking.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know when that switch. Is this the first year that's kind of switched where the receiving tight ends are getting less than the blocking tight ends?
Well, I think so, because I've touched on it a few times, but not in a way that relates to free agency. Mm-hmm. But you saw the kind of advent of 12 personnel last year, and so I think that brings a little bit more value back to the blocking tight end than just the guy that can line up wide and find the seam. But what actually provides you more value on the field in games, I would say that the guy that can go catch the ball and get you a first down over the guy that has to stay back and maybe springs the running back for 3 extra yards.
It depends on what your philosophy is.
It does.
If you have a great running back like Love, like you really want, and you need Bellinger to block. If not, why did you get Love? Because Chig is not a better blocker.
I would say, I mean, obviously Isaiah Likely, he got coveted and paid for his talent. I mean, his ceiling is still through the roof.
I loved him
in terms of talent. And in terms of blocking, I believe, if memory serves, Chig so far has been one of the better pass blocking tight ends in free agency. But Isaiah Likely's the better run blocker. Daniel Bellinger the better run blocker. Charlie Kohler the better run blocker.
But he improved on blocking. I think he's more than a willing blocker. I mean, sometimes he motioned in the backfield and would lead on, like a fullback. So I think it's underrated. But we'll see. Hopefully it'll all work out for him there.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good fit for him up in
Commanders,
the
Washington.
Commanders, because you got Jaden Daniels. He brings a yards after catch ability.
No, we got Marcus Mariota.
I think he's got Marcus too. There you go.
Just in case Jaden's not, playing.
And listen, he'll never be an 1,000-yard receiving tight end, more than likely.
He also has my, Scary Terry. My dear, cathedral graduate like I am. So Scary Terry, man.
But I mean, he's a guy that can provide value to an offense through the air, and really even on screens and some of the stuff that he was able to turn that was short into long gains for 8 or 9 yards. I mean, he wasn't really going down at a high rate on the first contact last year. I mean, a lot of missed tackles I felt like were forced and broken, and it took maybe 2 or 3 guys sometimes to bring Chig down. So I know that he gets bashed a lot. It's a very mixed, weird fan reception to Chig Okonkwo, but I've always thought that his talent maybe just never got realized here, but I've always felt that he can offer you more if you just chose to involve him more.
Right. And I'm right there with you. I guess from watching, not knowing how they game plan, it seemed like there's just never game plan. He was just part of the game plan. If he happenstance did well, that was okay. So they never just kind of say, hey, man, let's split him out. He's going to be a guy. I think I saw that a couple times under Vrabel, and then we saw some shine. You're like, wow, this guy's really talented out in open space. I think what we see as fans is we're seeing very inconsistent blocker, very inconsistent with his hands, too, by the way.
Yeah.
All these things improved, but it doesn't leave your mindset. Every time he has one drop, you go, oh, my.
There's the old Chig again.
Right. See, that's what happened. So I just feel like he's a talent that we really didn't. We tapped the surface, and he started eking up there, and then all of a sudden, there were some steps back, and it kind of never got to that point where we felt like, man, he could be dominant. But I really believe as a pass receiving tight end, I think he's in the, that category of right below, Likely and people of that ilk pass receiving. So,
and there's a lot of times he got put in disadvantageous situations where he's blocking one-on-one with a premier edge rusher because that's what the blocking scheme called for, or that someone on that whoever he was lined up next to messed up.
Got to do enough what's required.
Yeah.
Sometimes I saw him miss blocking a corner on a screenplay, and I'm like, hey man, you got to block that guy.
Yeah.
Sorry. And that guy's not supposed to be able to make the play like he ran, like you weren't even there.
So I get it that fans are very – it feels like fans are very split about what Chig was. I think the fans that love his receiving potential say, man, I wish they would have kept Chig. And I think the fans that value run blocking and trench work more, consistency more, were like, okay, I'm glad Chig's gone. Yeah. It was time to move on. And really, probably it was time to move on from Chig. And probably maybe it's what's best for Chig, too, the player.
Oh, yeah.
It may not be what's best for the Titans, but it may be what's best for the player himself. And I think he's landed in a prime opportunity for him to showcase his receiving ability.
Another young quarterback, too.
And another young quarterback gets another weapon. And your quarterback, we'll see what the weapons look like. I mean, right now, because I go back to what you were talking about, wide receiver and Carnell Tate in the draft. The Tennessee Titans have not put themselves currently, if you're looking at the roster today, in a situation where they can really afford to go best player available.
You don't think so?
Not yet. Now, there is a chance, right now is how the roster looks, that technically Sonny Styles, best player available and matches need, because I'm just saying it's your guy. There is, if I were to say between your guy Sonny Styles, my guy Jeremiah Love, who fits best player available and need, Sonny Styles does fit a need for this team. Technically, Jeremiah Love does technically fit a need, a playmaker, but the position he plays doesn't really fall into position of need.
So sell me you. Kirby's the GM. You're the lead scout or you're the head coach, and I'm the DC.
He's already fired me.
I'm the DC,
I didn't even
and
get a
I
word
want
in.
the defensive guy. So how are you spelling? Because this is what happens in the draft room. You know, coming up to the spot, like, okay, who are we going to take? They already know who they're going to take. They've already had this conversation, and that's where I say I get conflicted.
Yeah, because Jeremiah Love, the selling point for Jeremiah Love is that he is a play maker, and he, unlike Sonny Styles, will touch the ball 300 times a year.
Yeah.
So that is your selling point.
Right. And also, guess what? People love offense.
And people do love offense.
And that sells tickets, Kirby.
Yeah, that does. That does sell tickets.
Yeah.
But I will also say the way the Tennessee Titans have built this team, I know it would be a reach, but also how Mike Bergonzi has kind of listened to this coaching staff very heavily in free agency.
Yes.
I know Robert Dable probably has the louder voice when it comes to maybe coaching hierarchy. But if Brian Dable came in there and said to you, hey, we drafted over at the New York Giants Malik Neighbors at 5. I think what you saw from Malik Neighbors I can get from Carnell Tate. If he says that, that's going to be very hard to ignore if I'm Mike Bergonzi right now.
At 4?
And that's one spot difference. And now I know, do not get me wrong.
Do not get me wrong.
Malik Neighbors is a better prospect than Carnell Tate. But in this draft, Carnell Tate may be the Malik Neighbors of this draft. And
without the injury history of Tyson there, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. Like, you know, Jordan Tyson would be your Marvin Harrison Jr., Carnell Tate, your Malik Neighbors. Not in terms of style, but just in terms of hierarchy of the player. Yeah. So it makes me wonder, with what we've seen from free agency so far and how much he's listened to Brian Dable in terms of what he wants, how much are those voices weighed in the draft room? And if he comes in there and tells me I can get 1,200 yards out of Carnell Tate from our rookie quarterback to this rookie wide receiver, just like I was able to get from Malik Neighbors, because this is my offensive plan with Carnell Tate and how I plan to use him and utilize him and target him. I'll be honest, if I was GM, that would make me think, okay, I have to put Carnell Tate up there because that's a need. And this guy, my guy, offensive coordinators tell me it's best player available.
Okay, we're just having debate here. So if I'm in the meeting room, I go, okay, but how much is he going to get the ball?
Yeah.
All right. If you go with Love, how much would he get the ball? And in your offense, through our data, the running back is a major influence in your offense. We got the slot guy. We can't get everything this year. And, is Tate really good? But is he like Neighbors? No, he's not that kind of prospect. He's the notch below. So should we go with the Love, who you value the running back, obviously in your running game and running the football, over Carnell Tate? And so that would be the debate there. Or do you go defensively with Saleh? Now, do the coaches hold as much weight to what you're saying like they did in free agency, which is they know these players? But does Bergonzi know the draft players better because they haven't worked with them?
That is true.
Maybe that influence on what you need, maybe Bergonzi looks at this and goes, well, the draft guys is more my baby because I'm the one really digging deep in these
that
guys.
Is a good point.
So I don't know.
I think that's a great point because to what you're talking about, Robert Saleh and Brian Dable are coming late to the scouting party.
Right.
They're not the ones who went out to the games and watched these kids or interviewed coaches and family members and this and that, saw how they behaved at practice. They can get that information
secondhand. So the role
secondhand.
reverses. I'm listening
to you
with the free agencies, but with the draft,
great point.
I probably have more influence with you guys. I trusted you guys. You guys trusted me.
You guys worked with those guys. My guys have been doing the work for years.
The scouts.
The scouting. So we are way more informed on the scouts than maybe we are in free agents.
It's a great debate, right?
It's a great debate. And I would be interested to say, like, if he came in, like, Malik Neighbors, 170 targets his rookie year. And through 4 games, he was getting 35 targets a game. So, like, he was on pace, Blaine, to get 183 targets this year, Malik Neighbors, if you took his 4 four-game
I'm about to go back and watch these games.
I mean, that's kind of crazy.
You misquoted this.
I'm looking at it right here.
No, you said 30. No, 35 targets through 4 games.
4 games.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. 35 targets through 4 games. So he was on pace to get 183 targets, 1,320 yards through 17 games.
So basically, Neighbors getting injured helped
Wan'Dale Robinson. And they were able to, last year, have 170 targets for Malik Neighbors. I'm sorry, in 2024, his rookie year. And 140 for Wan'Dale Robinson. So if you're able to come in and tell me even if you could get 130 targets for Carnell Tate, you've piqued my interest. But I will say, if I were on the other side, and I know I'm going to play 2 roles, if I was also the other guy debating for Jeremiah Love, say, well, that's all great and good, but my guy's getting 300 touches a year.
Well, okay, the final straw is, but how are we going to best support our quarterback?
Yeah. Is it through the run game, through the receiver, or is it through defense? Because defense does support a good good young quarterback.
No doubt.
All right, coming up next, maybe we'll ask these questions to Mike Herndon of PK.com. Talk about a little bit about this Titans free agency and the draft. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons. 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door. 615-737-1045 is the number. We wait for Mike Herndon to join us via phone. But the second game is underway, Auburn versus Mississippi State. And that game just started and currently tied 9-9. Of course, it just started. It's the first half. So there you go. And also, Ravens General Manager Eric DeCosta is holding a special press conference today at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I guess he's going to come publicly talk about the whole Max Crosby thing.
Yeah.
It seems a little – I wouldn't do it. I would just say, hey,
I wouldn't do anything. It is what it is. We put out a statement. That's it.
Okay.
Wait, I think they're negotiating with Bonanno. Yeah, that's what it is.
But, yeah, like I definitely wouldn't be getting in front of the firing squad this early. I don't care. Listen, just let the media paint the picture that needs to be painted. You got your media outlet people and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, my God.
You got Trey Hendrickson. Why are you going out there
and
putting
your first-round picks back?
I mean, come on. I don't know.
Let it be. Maybe the fans really wanted Max Crosby, you think?
Maybe they did. I was texting, when it first went down, I texted Bert. He's the only Ravens fan I know. So
how did he feel about it?
He was like, I don't know how to feel. He was just perplexed. And, there was a Ravens fan that said, I will shave my head if Max Crosby signs with the Ravens or is traded to the Ravens. And he shaved his head. No. And then this happened.
Oh, my.
And so can you imagine what that guy is going through right now?
My.
That
Poor
would be
guy.
Insane. And Ross, I don't know if you got my
Maybe
text,
that's what he's going to address. They're going to give him his hair back.
Yeah. You got him?
Oh,
all right. Mike's here on the line. Mike Herndon, analyst for PK.com. Been following the Tennessee Titans for most of his life. He's got a Yancey Thigpen jersey in his closet somewhere. Did it make the trip to Texas?
No, my.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's here with me. Yeah, I even throw it on every now and then just to remind myself of
you do? Oh, my.
I don't know if you caught us on the radio show talking about Yancey Thigpen a few weeks ago, but Yancey Thigpen, his time here is not remembered fondly.
No, it was. I honestly, I feel like I should send my mom a check for whatever that jersey was worth. It's just repayment for me asking for that. 20 years ago, whatever it was, 25 years ago.
Well, yeah, that was tough there, man. He shows up at the game and said his hamstring is hurt. I went over to the coach. He's like, hey, man, he says, I said, do what? I said, he just practiced yesterday. I said, hey, man, your hamstring? He said, yeah, my hamstring is tight. I said, are you kidding with me, man? Are you? Yeah, I ain't saying it like that. I said, you effing with me right there. I said, hey, man, this is an important game. He said, hey, man, I'm serious, man. I can't go. My hamstring got tight. I go, hey, man, I heard you was at the gambling place about 3 hours from here.
He's over at Tunica, apparently.
Yeah. And then is that how your hamstring got tight? Because you was sitting in that chair gambling, losing all that money? Yeah, that's the Yancey Thigpen right there now. When he did play, he was very productive, and he was a tough soul. So, yeah, I just was hoping he could be out there a little more available than most of the time.
Well, listen, speaking of free agent signings, Tennessee Titans have made a bevy of free agent signings. What do you feel about the strategy between this version of Mike Berganzi and the strategy that he employed last year in Titans free agency? How do you feel about what are the big differences that you see, and how do you feel about those differences?
It feels like he's been a little bit more aggressive this year, I would say, and targeted. The funny thing is, it feels like we knew, 3 or 4 of these guys were 90% sure going to be Titans days, even weeks before free agency opened, and then all of those happened. So I think he's had a clear plan. He's been targeted. I think, obviously he's going and getting parts and pieces for his coaching staff. And maybe that's the biggest difference, is that it's clear that the coaching staff has a big voice in player acquisition here, and that he is trying to support his new hire in Robert Saleh, and obviously by extension Brian Dable and Carmen Brasillo and all the other position coaches, many of which have connections to I think 7 or 8 of the 9 players that they've signed so far, as far as outside free agents go.
Is that number too big, Mike? Just real quick on that.
Oh, yeah, good question.
And I get, you want some familiarity, no doubt about it. But when you get up to, we're talking about 80, 90%, man, like, whoa.
And all of them are players from with connections to the staff when all those connections yielded losing records. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting balance to try, because I totally get new coaches wanting guys that are known quantities to them, right? And I think, you hear people talk about free agency and how chaotic it can be because, numbers are going back and forth, and it's not like you're bringing these guys in and talking to them and getting a feel for them. You're, in some cases, many cases, signing them without ever meeting them. It's a huge money deal. So, and I think, frankly, that's probably why where a lot of misses maybe come from in free agency is you don't have that familiarity. So I understand they're going for known quantities, guys that they know when they're in the building, this is how they're going to work, this is how they're going to take notes. Are they going to be on time to meetings? Are they going to be late to meetings? Are they going to pull a Yancey Big Ben, show up with a hamstring tight on game day? Or are they going to be, ready to roll every day? I think those are important things to know, and it's stuff that, sure, you can ask buddies around the league and stuff like that, maybe get a little background, but you're never going to know it like you do if you've experienced it firsthand. So I get that familiarity standpoint. Maybe they've gone a little too hard, I think, with, just reaching for the whoopee a little bit in free agency. Like, for example, Daniel Bellinger, think he's a solid tight end too. We'll add some more blocking, and not a bad player, young. So there's some positives there. Better athlete than maybe he gets credit for. But for the same amount of money, basically, would I have preferred Charlie Kolar? Absolutely. I think Charlie Kolar's a better player. And I think if they're being honest, maybe Kolar's a better player, but Bellinger they know. So I think they leaned a little maybe in that case for somebody that they're familiar with, where maybe I think they shouldn't. Now, they could come on and prove me totally wrong, and Kolar could be terrible, and Bellinger could explode here. Who knows? But I think maybe they're going a little bit hard in that direction, but I totally get the reasoning, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I do have to yank your chain here just a little bit if we're going to have you on. Oh, have you watched a lot of Charlie Kolar tape? Because you have been obsessed with Charlie Kolar, and I don't understand why.
His blocking?
I guess because he only had like 30 receptions over his entire career.
He's a smash mouth goal.
What about Charlie Kolar makes him better than Daniel Bellinger in your mind?
Now here's the thing, and now it is the blocking first and foremost for me. Bellinger is a pretty good blocker. Kolar is a very good blocker, in my opinion. And he's got better size. He's 6'7", 265 versus Bellinger, who I think is more like 6'5", 255. So a little bit bigger guy, a little bit bigger body too, more power. But yeah, I think he's a better blocker, which is primarily what I want. Because to me, the vision with the Titans tight end room is Gunnar Helm is going to be your number one pass catcher. He played really well last year. Him and Chig were really kind of your most reliable targets for most of the season in the passing game. But, Helm, while he got better as a blocker as the year went on, that's not his forte, right? Like, he is primarily a pass catcher. And so it didn't make sense for me for them to bring back a guy like Chig, because then you've got two guys who are not really blockers. They're more pass catchers. And it just doesn't put the defense in that bind of, well, do we have to play heavy when they go to 12 personnel because otherwise they're going to, stuff it down our throat with the run game? Because those guys aren't going to be, the kind of blockers that will make you pay for putting a nickel or a dime on the field in those, heavier personnel packages for the offense. So I like them going to get a blocker. I just think Kolar's a better blocker. And I think if you go back to to his time at Iowa State, he was a monster receiver at Iowa State, and I think he's got more receiving ability than he's been allowed to show. with the Ravens, just simply because he had Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely ahead of him in the pecking order, and they didn't need him to do that job. So I like Kolar was one of my favorite free agents. I was a little bit obsessed with him, am a little bit obsessed with him. Sad the Titans didn't get him, but Bellinger is a guy that makes sense too. So, but yeah, I'm a Kolar fan for life.
We're on the phone with Mike Herndon of PK.com talking all things Tennessee Titans.
Well, Mike, I guess where are the Titans as far as what holes should they still continue to target in free agency, or are there any? And what player would you probably choose if you had just one shot at it?
I think the big spots are still right guard for sure. They need somebody there, and I think Cordell Volson is good depth, but I don't think he needs to be walking into a clear starting spot. It would have been great if they could have signed a center. I don't think there's a center out there right now that moves the needle. So I think they're kind of stuck with what they got to a degree there. And then the other spot to me that still sticks out are two other spots: edge rusher, defensive end, I guess, in the new system, and then off-ball linebacker. And if I was going to fill those spots, I think at linebacker I would prefer, and again, this is another Giant, but Bobby Okereke from the Giants. I think he fits, what Robert Saleh typically wants in his linebackers. He's rangy, he's long, extremely long as far as like arm length and build, and he's been a good pass defender, which is really something that they need in that linebacking core. So Okereke, I would love for them to grab. Edge rusher, it's starting to get a little bit thin out there. I could see them going for one of the older guys like a Joey Bosa or Cam Jordan, and using those guys as a bridge to maybe a draft pick at that position, whether it be at 4 or later in the draft. But that maybe takes some of the edge off of requiring that to be a high pick. If you have somebody who's a quality veteran that you can plug in there across from Tremaine Johnson, and then let Femi Oladejo kind of be a rotational guy. And then right guard, I still think if they can bring back Zeitler, that's ideal, because he played really well last year. He obviously is familiar with most of the rest of the starting offensive line, and I think it would be good to have him back on another 1-year deal if he wants to keep this thing going.
Well, I guess lastly for me, now that you're filling your holes in free agency, how does that change, or does it, what you want to do in the first and second round? What position group and player do you think are the best fits for these coaches and the GM?
I think some of these deals should be looked at as they impact the draft. I think the two corners, Flott and Taylor, that they added, those guys are signed on contracts that tell you they're going to be here for 2 years and they're going to be starters for 2 years, right? So, you probably still need to add one more corner at least, and you probably do need to draft one, but it doesn't have to be a guy who needs to play right away anymore.
Right, so we're talking about first and second round, Mike. First and second. Yeah. So what position? You're taking a cornerback in the first or second?
I would have before those picks, so that kind of changed that for me. But I would say I still think defensive end, they really need somebody who's an impact guy. I like Jermaine Johnson, but he's not like he's not a double-digit sack guy, right? Like he's going to be 6, 7, 8 sacks maybe. Solid player, good run defender, all that, but they need a difference maker at edge, and that's going to be the place where they have to get it. So I think either at 4 or 35, edge rusher would be great, and then an offensive playmaker, whether that's Jeremiah Love, Zach's boy, or they go wide receiver. Be it, I don't think 4 is the spot to go wide receiver, but at 35, if you had a Denzel Boston there, if you had, Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper is probably my favorite wide receiver in the draft, just from a, pure ability standpoint. If one of those guys is there at 35, I think you'd love to go get them. So I think offensive playmaker and then edge rusher, and then you're going to have to start looking at center probably around that 3rd round pick now.
Gotcha. All right, Mike. Last question for me before we let you go. Bill Barnwell yesterday called the Tennessee Titans losers in free agency. Your thoughts?
No.
Listen, I truly don't understand what all these people want the Titans to do, because they get mad at them for spending money. But if they didn't spend money, they get mad at them for not supporting Cam Ward, right? So they're kind of they're going to beat you up no matter what they do, just because hey, they've been losing the last couple of years. It's easy to beat them up. But yeah, I don't know what these guys want the Titans to do. And it's the criticism of Wan'Dale Robinson signing. It's like, well, go get the next Wan'Dale Robinson. How many rookies do you think they should make Cam Ward play with next year? Like, is that the best thing for Cam Ward, or is it better to have a guy who knows what he's doing and is entering his NFL prime as part of this? And also, by the way, you only have so many draft picks. Like, you can't fill the whole roster with draft picks. You're going to have to use the $98 million at some point, and yes, you're going to overpay in free agency. So I think a lot of the criticism of the class as a whole and the money they've been spending is, it's completely ridiculous, because what is the alternative here? Just continue to be bad and field a CFL level roster? It's ridiculous. So get out of here, Bill Barnwell.
Well, Mike, one more, and that is the biggest topic. Yeah. The biggest topic today in sports in the NFL naturally is the Max Crosby deal. What were your thoughts on the botched physical and everything else going on there with the Ravens, and then now signing Hendrickson?
Count me fully in the camp of, I think the Ravens did this whole thing dirty. I think they didn't like how free agency went the first day for them, and maybe they realized that their plan wasn't coming together the way they thought it was. And then they saw Trey Hendrickson's market stalling a bit and dropping a bit, and all of a sudden they said, you know what, maybe I'd rather have Trey Hendrickson for $30 million a year and have my 2 first-round picks rather than Crosby and no first-round picks for the next 2 years, including, obviously, next year being a loaded draft class. I think they absolutely got cold feet and used the medical as an excuse to pull the plug on this thing. And I don't think anyone should trust the Ravens moving forward. I think teams should be very, very wary of dealing with the Ravens on a situation like that.
That's why they have a precedent.
I was about to say, if you were Eric DeCosta, Mike, would you have a press conference later today? Because he is, right? You may not have seen that because I know you've been working today, but he's having a press conference later today. Would you have one?
He's going to have to face it sometime. I guess get out in front of it now. But yeah, that's going to be must-see TV. I will find a way to tune in for that one, because I hope the Baltimore media does their job and makes him squirm on that a little bit and doesn't just throw one softball at it and move on. I hope they hold his feet to the fire a little bit.
Well, we greatly appreciate you joining us. We'll have you on for some more draft talk and maybe some more free agency talk once free agency has, gone a few weeks and we got all the signings in. Greatly appreciate it. Mike Herndon at PK.com, where you can go and read his stuff. Have a good weekend, Mike.
Appreciate it, Mike.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
No problem. All right. Let's just make sure that this isn't breaking news. It's not. He's going to the Falcons. Azeez Ojulari is going to the Falcons on a 1-year deal. Other than that, Auburn leads Mississippi State 22-21 and 7 minutes left in the first period. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Zach Lyons, and I'm back after getting my vision corrected by Dr. Horn at Vision for Life, and let me tell you, it's been incredible. From the very first consultation, I knew I was in the right place. Dr. Horn personally sat down with me just like he does with every patient and answered every single question I had. And you guys know me, I had a lot of questions. I'd never felt rushed. He made me feel completely at ease and confident that I'd made the right decision. The follow-up appointment was smooth, on time, and the entire team treated me like family. You can tell they genuinely care. And surgery day, it was honestly easier than I imagined. The procedure really did take less than 5 minutes. No pain, no drama. And now I'm seeing better than 2020. I can't believe how clear everything is. It's one of those things where you don't realize what you've been missing until you see it for yourself. If you're tired of glasses and contacts like I was, don't wait. Call Vision for Life at 615-436-2020 or visit visionforlife.com and schedule your consultation with Dr. Horn today. Trust me, it's worth it. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop at Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Store, broadcasting live from Bridgestone Arena. I love on-location shows. I feel the energy's always a little up on the on-location shows. A lot of people watching as well. Mississippi State is currently now up on Auburn, 23-22, with 6 minutes left in the first half. You can watch that on SEC Network. And don't forget, tomorrow the University of Tennessee plays. You can hear that live on 104.5 The Zone. You'll get us for a little bit. tomorrow, and then after that it will go into radio coverage for the Tennessee basketball game. So be on the lookout for that. Hope everybody's staying safe in the storms as well. We're over here at the Barrel House between Section 111 and 112 at Bridgestone Arena. 3HL will be here after us, so make sure you guys stop by and say hello to them. Blaine, just real quick, and I think I've asked this before we close out. And
I love your closeout.
Whenever I say just quick, it never is just quick.
Oh, I love the closeout ones.
But here's my question to you: do you see the NFL moving a little bit more positionless, specifically at wide receiver and edge rusher in a way, defensive end edge rusher in a way? Because I've seen people say, well, the Tennessee Titans need a designated pass rusher that can come in on third downs. And I'm like, but you got guys that can play all three downs. So don't you want a guy that can play all three downs? Not necessarily that he has to, but a guy that can. And with wide receiver, there seems to be a real lack of availability of wide receiver ones for teams. So why not just get a bunch of really good wide receivers if you can't get a wide receiver one in your particular market at that time that you're trying to find one?
Oh, so you're talking about this, each position not having saying it's a one. Well, I've never bought into that.
Well,
I've never really bought.
Okay, you never have. Okay, cool.
That just wasn't my style.
Gotcha.
Because reason why that is for me, just because I'm always about the team. That's why when you ever hear me, if you ever listen, I'm like, but the quarterback played horrible and they still won, but he still gets the winning behind his name.
Yeah.
Right. See, but the team won the game.
Yeah.
So that's every position. You're going to say, oh, okay, especially if you don't have an elite level player. So what's the likelihood you're going to have an elite player? You know, you're going to have good players. So the likelihood is most of your team is built around really good players in the National Football League. And hopefully you can have some elite players at certain positions, especially pass rush, receiver now, left tackle, or just tackle in general. And then all the other pieces are, okay, who can elevate a time or two each game. That way you can't kind of hone in on one player. So where you're at with the Titans, where they don't have an elite receiver, you say, well, we can beat them with the mass.
Yeah.
We can have a whole bunch of really good players. So I've always kind of been that way for me. But if you get, an elite one, then you go, hey, man, we got our number one.
Right.
We got our number one. I mean, so, hey, and your quarterback, to me, when you're talking about positionless, I think your quarterback can be, at this day and age, just I think you can win with a really good quarterback. Doesn't have to be elite, doesn't have to be first round, doesn't have to be a top 5 pick if he's big in clutch moments.
Mm-hmm.
So he has that DNA. Who's that remind you of right now? You could say Cam Ward's elite, but I wouldn't put him in that category. But I can say that he's got some clutch gene to him. So that's really, to me, how I view, the league, because no one player, I don't care how elite you were, just look at, okay, this is the best of the best. Okay, we can use Jerry Rice. Everybody knows who Jerry Rice is, right? Well, okay. He has some really good players around him. Roger Craig now is in the Hall of Fame. Joe Montana's in the Hall of Fame. T.O.'s in the Hall of Fame. I mean, right, we can talk about, but John Taylor, the tight end, Brent Jones is a really good player.
Over there.
Defense is really good. I mean, so you start looking at the whole deal, you're just saying, man, you got to have some elite players, but you really win with team because, when things are on the line in the Super Bowl, sometimes they went to Taylor, the other receiver, number 82.
Yeah.
Because everybody was focused on
Jerry Rice.
Right. See, so you win ultimately as a true team. And, do you need some elite players along the way? Hopefully you can get those at the top of the draft, and then or sometimes you're lucky to sign in one. But ultimately I feel like, that's not always how you build a team. You must adjust and adapt if you want to get somewhere faster. You can't always just say, oh, we got to have an elite player all over the place and we got to have a number one wide receiver. Why? Let's beat them by committee.
Yeah.
Watch this. Who was our number one when we went to the Super Bowl? Our team, the Titans.
Yeah, I mean.
See? Mm-hmm.
Right. You could.
We didn't have one.
Yeah.
We didn't have one.
Right.
Each and every game, somebody
you had to beat the team with someone different every game.
Right. See, so did we have an elite running back, an elite quarterback? Yeah. We did.
Right.
But so we had some good quality players all over the place.
Yeah.
So I just I'm kind of that team guy. But I get why people go there. But the likelihood you're just gonna get one all the time is just probably highly unlikely.
That's kind of how I feel too. All right. SEC men's basketball tournament's going on. We're live from Bridgestone Arena. 3HL's coming up next. We're at the Barrel House between 111 and 112, those sections. Currently, 4 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first half. Mississippi State leads Auburn 26-22. Other than that, we appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll be here tomorrow and Friday, so make sure you guys, all the shows,
Barrel
make sure
House.
you guys come out and, talk to us. Stay safe out there. Other than that, in the meantime,
And in between time, peace. 3HL next.